With the new millennium just around the corner, KLT members began planning a celebratory 50th season, as well as widening the reach of the theatre through an exciting new technology, the internet.
In 1999, we were doing a Christmas production of Sinbad, and we were trying to establish how we could best sell tickets and look at the new methods of communication and actually reach a wider audience and sell more seats, but at the same time not have, as volunteers running the theatre, too much extra work on our hands, because we all had to somehow balance our workload. So I decided that it was a good idea to look at using online for the first time, and we set up the first KLT website in 1999. In those days it was just a single page telling us what show was coming up and who to call if you wanted tickets. Today the KLT website is an archive of all our past productions and is a very well used site by our members and our audiences, who can now book online as well as enjoy the pictures and discussions about the shows that we've been doing at the theatre.
Today you can interact with the theatre 24/7 via its website, theklt.com, or on social networking sites like Facebook, where the group has its own fan page. Such new mediums of communication, that were nothing more than science fiction when the theatre began in 1948, mean people can now learn about the theatre before even arriving in the country. They also allow members from seasons past to stay in touch with friends and memories they made while in Kuwait.
It is passion that continues to keep the KLT alive. Passion for live performance, live theatre. Despite the transient expat population, every year new arrivals to Kuwait get swept up in the excitement, energy and community spirit that the KLT houses, ensuring that the theatre continues to thrive season after season.
When I first joined in '96, the first thing I did actually when I arrived in Kuwait was look for amateur theatre groups to get involved in. It's something I'd always done in the UK. I'd studied in music and drama, so was very keen to find an outlet, a cultural outlet in the desert. And finding KLT was like finding a lifeline, really, for me. I immediately auditioned for the first pantomime, which was Aladdin in 1996. I had a total blast, met some wonderful people. Many of the people that I befriended in that production are still my best friends to this day. And I think that's one of the reasons I've stayed in Kuwait so long, that I've became friends with people who'd been here for a long time, who'd become lifers, maybe, as we like to call them.
When I arrived here 8 years ago, my housemate said she was coming to watch a show here called Mad Musicals. It was in 2002, and she asked if I'd like to come and join her. I came along to the Little Theatre and watched this show, which was actually very fun, and it was a free show, and the reason why it was free was to get people involved in the theatre. The show was different songs from different musicals, and I just loved the fact that everyone was having fun on stage, and I also found out the rehearsal periods were like 5 sessions, so I thought this was a really cool idea. So I decided to come back down and audition.
I'm the assets manager for the Kuwait Little Theater. I've been with the theater since 2002, about 2 days after I landed in Kuwait. Someone from my school brought me out to show me the theater, and then a week later I was auditioning for a show, and I've been with the theater ever since.
As you see, I've got biceps to spare. Got a bit of big scraggly or scrawny. That's right, and every last inch of me's covered in hair.
There's an amazing sense of community, and everybody working together on shows has helped us really develop some fantastic productions over the years.
Eddie Crowds! My mummy says I haven't got to play with you. Yeah, well, my mum says I haven't got to play with you. Take no notice of the mothers, they're soft. I've got Linda with me, she's a girl, but she's all right.
From starting off on stage, I then moved into directing and producing productions, lighting, and doing a bit of everything really in this theatre, because as a small team you have to just get involved.
That's right, boy! You can do it!
You get all of the milking and I'll get the bottles. Now, Daisy, you'll be a good girl for Mummy, won't you?
Yeah, she's always a good girl, mate. Hey, Daisy, Daisy, I've been practising an impression. Would you like to see my impression, Daisy? It's of you, Daisy. Look, look. Oh, we've been working on that for weeks, Daisy.
Pantomime, I think, is probably my favourite art form just because it's so interactive, and in a venue this size with just 170 seats, you can step right across the footlights and interact with the audience, which is so much fun.
He's dead. Isn't he? No! Now you come here, the trooper, I'll turn you all into a bunch of crumbs. Then you'll be hopping mad.
Oh, tell me it's not true.
Aladdin is dead.
Is this young scamp?
My favourite part since being at KLT has probably got to be a character called Lily Piper, who I played in 2004, and mainly because it was a big challenge for me. I'd worked my way up through smaller roles, through choruses, into doing larger roles, and Lily Piper for me was a very funny character and actually very similar to sort of where I come from, my background. So I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that, you know, I was clearly going in the direction of comedic roles. My most challenging role to date has got to be playing Rita in Educating Rita, mainly because of the fact that it's only a two-person play and the length of the play.
So you're a ladies' hairdresser?
Yeah.
Are you good at it?
Yeah, well I want to be, but most of the time I don't want to be though. They get on my nerves.
I was in the first production of Mamma Mia some 9 years ago. I restrict my roles these days to cameo appearances. I find it, as you get older, learning all these lines is definitely too much of a hard work, definitely hard graft.
Just sit down, relax, and say to yourself,
I've got very beautiful hair.
yes, and I promise you, Ed, you will see the difference, okay?
No.
As soon as I walked into this building, I fell in love with theatre all over again, and I love every aspect of it. I enjoy working on the sets, hot gluing and painting and building, and so I've tried to assist with building as much as I can in every show, and now it seems I am the builder. I enjoyed that aspect of creativity, of creating the set, as much as being on stage and all of the creativity that comes with that as well.
There are peeping Toms peeping. I know there are.
Peeping Toms and peeking. Peeping Toms are peeking when their heads cut off in front of the population at the peak hour.
Oh no, peeping!
This is the wardrobe, or part of it, because we have another section upstairs. Now it's getting very condensed with costumes, but every year we empty out, throw the ones that we don't need. But this particular costume I'm really rather fond of, because it was one of those we used in our first production after the invasion. The costumes in the theatre, they're made by volunteers, people who can sew. Sometimes they're things we find in the souk, and occasionally we go to the tailors.
Razzle dazzle them, and they'll make you a star. Oh, I can't stand this singing. I've got cooking to do. See you later, bye!
I've been on KLT committee for 11 years now. The biggest challenge is when we've got a full show and we have lots of people showing up and wanting to take seats, and we really can't seat them because we've only got 170 seats. But we always do our best to try and seat whoever shows up on the night. If we can, we try and seat them, even if it means dragging in a couple of plastic chairs.
Kuwait Little Theater is growing stronger with every passing season. Today, 60 years after its humble beginnings, it is firmly re-established as the busiest as well as the best little theatre in Kuwait. Shows like Aladdin, Cinderella, Nonsense, Blood Brothers, Little Shop of Horrors and many more have been well received by KLT audiences in recent years. Only this week the theatre has had to stage an extra performance of the smash hit musical Mamma Mia due to the overwhelming demand for tickets. It seems like history is repeating itself.
The response has been phenomenal for Mamma Mia. In fact, we were supposed to do originally 8 shows. Because we are the Kuwait Little Theater, the theatre only actually holds 170 seats, so we've actually been sold out since about week 2 when the tickets went on sale. So this week we actually did an extra show. It just showed that the wealth of the show and how good it has been.
The passion of the volunteers and the audience response is evident in today's performance of Mamma Mia.
It was the best. It's the best night out. It was a fantastic time. The cast was wonderful. We just had a great time. We've been singing and dancing all night and now we can't talk. Wonderful time. Thank you.
Oh, I think it's uplifting. You come out of this full of joy and happiness and you can see it in the audience. It was an excellent night.
I thought it was extremely good. It was the first time I've seen Mamma Mia since I saw it in Las Vegas about 3 years ago. And I thought this performance tonight was really good, very professional, extremely well performed, and reminded me very much of the last professional show that I saw in Vegas.
A fantastic, fantastic show. I'm so proud of each and every one of you and all the backstage crew. You should be over here as well, by the way. Yes, thank you. And all I can say is come back to the KLT next season for more.
Kuwait Little Theatre has grown old with time, but the constant support from KOC and the passionate involvement of the volunteers has kept it alive and thriving into its diamond anniversary year. As Kuwait Oil Company continue their modernisation and renovation of Ahmadi, the oil town that has been KLT's home for 60 years, there is talk of plans to rebuild the theatre itself. The new theatre building will be bigger than the present structure. It will have a bigger auditorium to seat and entertain the community, easing demand for tickets. It promises a bigger wardrobe space, more dressing rooms, property rooms and a much needed space for the set building workshop.
Now listen to me everyone. When you leave here tonight, we want you to go home and pick a set so you can get there to get on up and on to that road.
However, while a much deserved new venue may provide the volunteers with a bigger platform to stage shows, the theatre will always be known as Kuwait Little Theatre, the busiest and the best little theatre in the region.
Be